Oh, yes. My right to defend? Yeah. When a person being without fault is in a place where he has a right to be, is violently assaulted, he may, without retreating, repel by force, and if, in the reasonable exercise of his right of self-defense, you, my assailants, are killed, he is justified. Now, I would say that I have the justification of having you killed, as in put to death, yes, for the violating of the laws of the United States. And as much as you dislike the thought of capital punishment, um, I have the right to not be violently assaulted for crimes I didn't commit because you wouldn't admit the evidence. I have the right to custody of my sons. Yeah. To protect them from you exploiting them and keeping them from the knowledge that they should have. And you, as sheriffs and police officers right now, you seem to think that the individuals that are on death row are all non law enforcement. Well, why don't we call each and every police officer in this nation and see if they'd like to listen in? Because I think that capital punishment should continue to be reserved, yeah, for those that had sworn that they would protect and serve the communities that they serve in. Yes, yes, yes. There's an additional, heightened level of responsibility, obligation, and duty for those that are in law enforcement. Yeah. Where they have knowledge of child exploitation, the retardation of children, yes, violently assailing me against my right to due process, pooch, accusing me of crimes where you have the evidence that I didn't commit any crime, yeah, and then for some reason I don't have the right to defend myself and my family. Ooh. Now, I know you're corrupt. You've committed a terrible fraud. But I think capital punishment should be available for every oath of office. For all of those that are mandatory reporters, where they're obligated to inform law enforcement when they know of child abuse and child abduction. And as much as you say, well, my wife never beat my sons, I think she's been beating them for 7 years because she denied them the education that they should have. It is child abuse, isn't it? Hmm. Now, explain this Comitas Act. Yes. Use of a member of the Judge Advocate Corps as a special assistant prosecutor. Yes. There could be prosecutors in every county of the United States that need that special assistant. Yes. Why don't we call the Army and all of those that didn't want, yes, to have their head shaved and their lawyers for the United States military? Then yesterday, I recommended we should have some auditors. Yes. Now, let's say you're a lawyer. You're employed in the Judge Advocate Corps. Yeah. And your thought of child exploitation, abuse of children, kidnapping, and depriving America's children of their education is that you don't have any liability. Oh. Now, I don't know exactly how they court martial, but I would put in, is it, well, do they have prisons in the military that you get to go to spend a little time out with yourself so you can think as a lawyer? Can I, as an attorney of the Judge Advocate Corps, have any knowledge of the depriving of the defense of the family? Yes. Where I, as a father, have informed law enforcement. Do you need to spend a little time in that jail? Well, as a lawyer prosecuting those that are in uniform, yes, as well as that defense. You remember that? What was it called again? Something Military Justice Act of 1968. Yes. I haven't gotten a call from my sons, and I just wanted to know, could the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, the National Guard, could you find out where the actual property lines are of any jail that you would put any regular soldier in if they were found intoxicated while on duty? Yes, in uniform. Or maybe they did something to upset their commanding officer. You called somebody a dickhead that happened to be your commander. And you thought, well, we'll spend a few days in the brig and that'll cool you off. Now, let's say the lawyers for the Judge Advocate Corps of each and every branch of the United States military haven't spent any time in jail. 2 or 3 days of just getting the experience of what it's like to spend a little time in a could be educational when you think about the prosecuting of those soldiers and sailors that don't want to follow what their commander says. Now, I think that if every lawyer of the United States was to spend 3 days to a week in jail so they can feel the wearing of the orange, they can taste the food that's available to them, they can understand the fees and fines they get for violating right now. I think a nice 3-day weekend in the actual jails of the Judge Advocate Corps, where you said, as a soldier, yes, a sailor, I will represent the United States in each and every hearing, and I would never deprive Americans of their civil rights. Now, there is no law for the government of the citizens, the armies, or the navies of the United States within America's jurisdiction, which is not contained in or derived from the Constitution. Now, the provision of the Fifth Amendment, yes, that no person shall be held to answer for capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in actual service in time of war or public danger. There could be a public danger for every attorney in the military that thought, no, we really don't have to do anything except for file bullshit briefs or sit around and listen to whatever it is we're supposed to be doing. We can make $150,000 a year and have the military provide all those benefits. But when's the last time you spent 3 days to a week in the actual jail that you put soldiers and sailors in, where you got to take your suit off, you didn't get to wear that uniform? Maybe you need to have a real life experience of exactly what it's like to be in the Judge Advocate General's Corps. Now, that the term infamous, yes, I think it's infamous, as here used, is now mainly applicable to crime punishable by imprisonment in a penitentiary or similar institution. Now, I'm going to trial. Yes, a cell hearing. Yes. Well, we're going to find out because I made sure we're going to find out if I'm delusional or not. Yes, yes. And then they're going to restore me to the sanity that they say I have lost. Yes. So that they can try me for the 2-count criminal complaint where they have the evidence I wasn't in prison. Yes. And they have the actual evidence I wasn't cyber stalking. I was informing them of my civil rights being violated. Yes, as well as the civil rights of my sons that are too stupid to know that because they're 2 grades behind all the other students their age.